Okay, hello. I think we're ready. 1 second. Uh-oh. The alpaca seems stuck. 1 second. There we go. Alright. Now it's gone. Okay, hello. Cinnabon here. Just thought I'd come on and do a quick update on what's going on with the server. The server's going extremely slow. It's not actually working very well at all. Let me bring up our server stats here. You can actually see what I'm seeing. If you look to the left of this, well, yeah, your left of the screen, you should see the yellow text for our server stats here. What I'm looking at is the server simulation speed, which is right now is better than yesterday, but still not good at all. I mean, it's still fluctuating between 0.5 and 0.7, so we're still well below real-time simulation. So you actually do have a weird slowdown in the game. You can see when I try and just walk around my base here, I mean, it's really slow. So everything pretty much feels like it's in slow motion. The CPU sim speed, let me try and get this into a spot where you can actually see it. But the server simulation load, it's about halfway down the list. You can see that's between 150% and sitting at 200%. So we really need to do things to really lighten the load on the server, especially if we expect to actually take on more players. Right now, the current player count is, I think it's 14, unless a couple more joined in the last 2 days that I haven't seen. But it seems like for the last month, from about 9 o'clock in the morning to about 9 o'clock at night, we've been averaging about 6 players on the server at the same time. The overnight hours between 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., it's usually between one to 4 people. It's actually very rare lately. It's been a while where I've seen nobody online, or I was the only one on the server myself. Uh, so yeah, I mean, this is where we're at with just the 6 players playing at once. So I mean, if we try and take on more players, I mean, things are gonna get really slow. And as it is right now, at least for me, the game is pretty much unplayable. I mean, as you can see, I'm gonna try and I mean, the trip to get to the docking bay over here. I mean, it shouldn't take that long, but this is me running right now. Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of wondering, Thomas, is if it's my hardware that's actually causing the slowdown. And that's kind of why I wanted to do this on a stream, is to kind of get everybody else's opinion and see how the game's running for everybody else too. Because it really should not. I mean, it should not take this long just to get down 2 hallways at a full run. Outside. So yeah, I mean, strangely, it seems like flying actually lets me move around a lot easier. It does, but I mean, you shouldn't have to fly, Thomas, just to be able to move around your base. That's the whole thing. Which is kind of weird. All right, so a couple things I was thinking of was to get the server running as smoothly as possible, and to try to avoid a restart. I mean, a full reset here. Is we can add more restarts to the schedule. I know some of the other bigger servers do their backup and restarts on a 4-hour schedule, I believe. Yeah, six different restarts per day. I don't want it to be disruptive, so that's why I've been trying to keep it as midnight and noon. But we might have to add one more in there during the peak times, just so we can clear the garbage system out. Let me go into my admin tools, and you can actually see all the grids here that are in the game right now. All these containers. These are the drop pods that. Shit, I clicked one, so it's gonna take a second for it to actually load in. But these containers here, these are the drop pods that drop in with supplies. Then there's debris. This is mission debris, so I don't want to just remove it in case someone actually decides to take on a mission. Then you have all your outposts now that are listed here. Yeah, these are all the different NPC outposts and ships that are actually out in the game. And then we have a bunch of these large grids that if I go to by owner name, you can actually see all the grids all the players have made. Anti-Tracker's got a ton of large grids out here right now, but all this is actually Goliath debris out there still that we need to clean up. I was hoping the garbage system would have taken care of that once the restart happened last night, but it didn't get any of that, so I'm gonna have to go back through and load this in, make sure this is debris and not part of a ship that they're building, and then delete it manually. The problem with doing this is, as you can see when I click on one of these grids, it takes a good minute or two just for the block to load in so I can actually see what it is and know I'm not deleting somebody part of a ship or something. I'll show you why the sometimes, even though it'll say block count 1 or block count 2, you would think block count 1 would be a safe block to delete. It's just a lone block off by itself. But I'll show you why in a second. That's not always the case. If this object will ever load in and let me get out of the admin screen. While we're waiting for that, I suppose. Load times. For me, just getting into the game lately, it's taking at least 10 minutes to load into the game. I don't know if you guys are having the same experience, but it used to only take me a few seconds to actually get into the game. So, I mean, what can we do to improve server speed? Well, there's a couple things we can do. I'm still concerned that there is a rogue program or script or something running in the background of the game because our server log is still showing everybody is trying to cheat non-stop. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing that's getting logged in the log right now, and it's jamming that thing up. So I think that is actually might actually be some of the problems that we're having. So the problem with that is I have no idea how to stop it, and the only way I know how to get rid of that, if that's in fact some sort of weird program in the background causing problems on the server, would be to literally do a full server wipe and start over from scratch, which obviously nobody wants to do. The other thing we can do is to start enacting block limits and using mods to bring in some low PCU blocks to replace some of the normal vanilla blocks that are high PCU for later in the game. One of the reasons I'm suggesting this is because I'm guessing that a lot of the bases that are built and established now with over a dozen refineries, I'm guessing a lot of that now is just for the look of it, and much of your industry isn't actually producing anything anymore, because I'd imagine many of you guys have almost unlimited parts now because of all the mining that's been going on the server. Alright, for some reason I can't even... Yeah, that chunk from the Goliath wouldn't load, so I'm just going to come back to my ship here. was I gonna do real quick? Let's see. Players. We do have 5 online. That's normal. And the other problem we have here is, let me go into our floating objects here. This gravel dumping has to stop. This cannot go on anymore. I mean, the entire thing is full almost of gravel. And I don't know why the garbage system isn't taking care of this. I think it's because it's being dumped too close to a base, so it's actually that's why it's not getting deleted. The thing is, Thomas, I don't know how to change the NPC count. I know that sorry, I got distracted for 1 second. All the NPCs auto spawn in, and I don't see in the options a way to change the number that actually spawn in. So I don't see that as an option that actually help the server at all. Let me remove this. Scrap metal. And this is just from Space Battles. For some reason the scrap metal is not getting taken out. And also the other big problem is stone, which today isn't a huge problem, so. But I am also going to remove that. Don't need this. There are a few people playing this moment when it's better to stream while there's more audience. Well, Hector, unfortunately, this is basically the only time I can stream today. I didn't know when Bird of Prey was going to stream. I figured he'd probably do it at around 2 o'clock my time. So, and I know Anti-Tracker's tonight, so I didn't want to do it while those guys were streaming. And so yeah, this is kind of the best time that there was to do it, and since it's going to be on the channel, anyone can pick it up and watch it whenever. Okay, so there's a couple other things we can do. I'm stuck here for a minute while my game's streaming, but I'll start going over some of these blocks in just a minute. Okay, so I did propose a block limit per faction inside the Skype chat. So Hector, you weren't there, so in just a minute, let me go over that for real quick. Let me pull up my Skype. Okay, so block limits per faction. What I'm proposing is this. If I can find it again, hold on. Sorry. Okay. So per faction, it would be 2 of the static rocket launchers, 15 refineries, 12 drills, block welders or block grinders, 10 of each of the standard weapons per grid, not per faction, 15 assemblers, 2 survival kits, but you can have unlimited medical bays. I had 10 gravity generators and 10 O2 generators, but you can probably bump that up to the 15 because that actually matches the PCU of a refinery pretty much, so I'm not too worried about that. Actually, gravity generators are pretty high PCU, so I would appreciate if we could probably limit that to 10 per faction. And then, strangely enough, ship connectors are also extremely high cost, so I would ask that we use only 1 per ship, plus an extra 2. And then, quite frankly, I think the ejector system should be banned from the game, because that's the ejectors are causing more problems than helping right now. And you can imagine if we had 60, I'm sorry, not 60, but 30 players, maybe not all playing at once, but if a majority of those new players come on, start mining, and start ejecting a ton of stone everywhere, you can imagine that that could be a problem. Hector, never saw that what Skype you're using nor when. Yeah, it was a while ago. Wesley set up a Skype chat for a bunch of us on Space Engineers. So yeah, if you want to search for it, search for me on Skype. You can. That's fine. I'll be honest. I don't know how to use Skype very much. I basically just use it to talk to Wes and Anti-Tracker and Bird and a couple other people that are in the group chat right now. So I don't know how to search my name on there. I'm guessing you just would search Cinnabon and it should come up. Otherwise, my email address is jim.segla, CEGLA, @gmail, and you can probably find it that way. Alright, let me pull up the block so you can actually see what these things are costing and why I was thinking of those limits. Well, one of the reasons I was thinking of the limits that I just gave you is that's what some of the other big servers are using. So I decided that I would just copy their the limits that they've been using. What am I doing? Alright, get out of this chair. Let's see. Ideally, should be per player, not per faction or tiers, like factions with 1 player X limit, factions with 2 to 4 players Y limit. See, the problem with doing that, Hector, is all this is going to have to be self-policed anyway. I don't have the myself and Wes, I know for sure, definitely doesn't have the time to sit here and police the game and to literally count everyone's blocks every day. I mean, it's impossible to do it now. It would be even more impossible to do it once we have a full server. So I mean, just putting just a block limit down for everything. I mean, I think it would be the best way to go. But obviously nothing's decided yet, so this is just something I'm going over so everyone can actually hear it and then give me feedback on it to let me know. Let me just jump onto this chair real quick. All the blocks. Okay, so you can see as all the new blocks have I didn't put any limits on because all of them are sitting at PCU of 1, so it shouldn't bog the system down as much as some of these other things. Refineries and assemblers. Those are two of the blocks that slow the game down a lot when they're running. Refineries is as a 90 PCU, which isn't bad, but you can imagine once you get 100 of these on your base that it would blow up the server. Hector says Anti-Tracker will not like this. I will oppose this if it's perfection. Anti-Tracker and I already actually talked about it, and he agrees. Assembler is also the same. Hydrogen engines 25. It's not bad. And yeah, the refinery 90, assembler 40. Not too bad, but they do get, because they actually exchange inventory and change the mass of everything, are constantly changing mass of inventory and production size. It's just has more calculations and it actually slows the system down. Hector says you don't need many assemblers compared with refineries. Exactly, and that's why I'm not too worried about a low block count. Now, before I do this, let me exit real quick. I did talk to Anti-Tracker about an option to use a mining laser instead of the instead of refineries, and I'll show you what I mean, and instead of normal drills. Because these drill rigs that some of you guys have, and they're really cool, I admit. I think they're cool. I would definitely like to have them in the game. But they work in single player. They don't work on a multiplayer server. Alright, I've got a game here where I loaded in some things to... One second. Alright, this one should load. Alright. So for late game, what I'm thinking of doing is... oh, shit. Alright, just getting rid of the assembler altogether. You can leave it on your base. Just, we would ask you to turn it off. I mean, obviously. But I'm going to show you a mining laser that could replace the drills, the refinery, and the refinery, and it runs at 1 PCU. So that would definitely help. Thomas Potts, speaking of mining ships, has anyone seen a pack rat drifting in space? No, I looked in the list, Thomas, and I only saw the one in the list, so the other one was deleted or destroyed. So this save game loads in anytime. I'll pull up that laser to show you. Something else I was thinking of was, do you want me to turn off the day-night cycle? I mean, does anyone care if it's ever nighttime on their planet? I mean, it doesn't really matter to me, but... Now, to be honest, I don't really know if you can turn off the day-night cycle completely, so it might just stop the sun from rotating, so I don't know. I'll look into it. If you guys want me to turn off the day-night cycle, I can look into it. I know some people hate when it's nighttime out, so I have no problem doing that. Yeah, I know, in space it doesn't make much difference. Yeah, the day's only on a 2-hour cycle, so that's why it goes so fast. Alright, so I mean, you can notice, I mean, I'm on my base on a save game, and how smooth we should be running. I mean, I should be able to walk around without any jittering, like I am now pretty much. Let me transport out to somewhere real quick. Get me outside, transport to, and teleport. Alright, that didn't want to work. Alright. Okay, so this here is the mining laser. As you can see, all it does, it's just an animation of a laser. It doesn't actually destroy any voxels. It's just essentially a 3D model. What it does, all it does is, get to my inventory. All it does is produce gravel. What good is that, you ask? Well, if you go to your production tab, you go to your drill platform, now you can turn that gravel into any ingot in the game that you want. So let's say you need some uranium. Instead of having to go find it and actually drill it, select uranium ingots, and it'll start turning gravel into uranium. Same thing, and so you have it. You can either make one of everything that you want, or there's a selection to make 100 of something. So 100 silver, 100 ice, and for like ice and I think stone, you can get ridiculous amounts. So this will actually create 10,000 ice. So what this does is actually eliminates refineries and drill heads in late game. So basically all you would need to do, no need to exploring. Well, that Hector, yeah, you would, because the drill laser would mainly be for later in the game. Once your base is established and you're not using your monster industry anymore, and you don't have to have 6 different refineries running, you can switch over to the mining laser, and we can drastically lower the game's PCU and hopefully increase the speed. Hey bird, how's it going? But that was the one thing I proposed to Anti-Tracker about replacing the current drills that we're using. The only thing is, I don't know if you can attach this to a ship and it will actually work on a ship. So that's something I'll actually have to test, because this doesn't actually destroy anything. It's just an animation. Yeah, and then the normal drills would have a limit of about 10 per faction, and then you would just have to use the normal drills for tunneling instead then. And since that doesn't create a ton of rocks everywhere, that should actually help. How do you make it endgame? Lots of high-end resources to make. Well, it's actually kind of expensive to build, for one. I mean, I did it kind of early game, but alright, let's just place one. Come on, there we go. Come on. There we go. I suppose it would help if I'm not in creative mode. Just hold on 1 second here. And of course, I need. Sorry, 1 second here. No, it's not letting me access what I want. No. Alright, so damn it. Now I'm stuck. Hold on. So infinite resources if this laser doesn't cut away at the rock. No, it's not infinite resources because you still have to have the gravel to create it, and some of the recipes are actually pretty expensive. For putting holes in the ground, contact bird of prey. Maybe a mod that makes less stone when extracting, so we don't need the need for expellers. Or you could actually just refine the stone and then go sell it to some of the traders, so you wouldn't have to expel it either. Or cleaner drills that don't cause many voxels. That's not even a possibility. And what do I need to build that stupid drill? We do have a couple drill options. Let me show you another drill in just 1 second here. Let me get this laser built. And I turned off my damn create. I'm gonna have to go into another game here because I turned off my creative tools and it won't let me turn them back on. So show you the other drill that we can look at. Just a second. So I need a welder. Okay, so just to build this, you're looking at needing 1,001 steel plates, 40 construction components, 20 large steel tubes, 16 motors, 20 computers, and 100 more steel plates to finish it off. It doesn't seem like a lot, but in early game, before you have the ability to create steel tubes, I mean, it'll essentially you won't be able to build this until you have your basic base established, and then at that point I really don't care because I'd rather have you guys use something that's not going to slow the game down than to have a bunch of drill heads running at the same time. And the only reason I say that is because my main concern is to make sure that the server keeps running smoothly as we pick up more players. As it is right now, as we pick up more players, we're going to keep slowing down. And quite frankly, we're going to run out of block space pretty soon anyway. We're at a total PCU of 996,716 in the whole world. I'm sorry, I'm looking at a save game. But from last night, the server PCU was a total block PCU of everybody on the game was 1.42 million. And the server can actually only hold 2.2 million right now. We can increase that total, or we can ignore all block limits, but if you do that, that just causes slowdowns in the game. So let me exit out of this real quick, and I'll go into a second game here, and I'll show you the other drill that we can use. But if I give you guys this other massive drill, it would be limited to one per faction because it's just huge, and quite frankly you would never need a second one of these. Let me just open a custom game real quick. Star System Creative, and where is it? Mods, Earthbreaker. Okay. So this is what I'm showing you now is the Earthbreaker drill, which is a massive drill, but it's also extremely expensive. And okay, so I should be on the planet here. Come on, game. There we go. Alright. So let me build one of these things. So these things are pretty huge. You're gonna have to be at least, I think it's 10 blocks high, just to make this work. And then you'd have to be several blocks now. I don't want to be over a cliff here. So hold on a second. Let me go this way. Hope I have enough room. About 7 blocks this way. I'm not going to actually attach to anything because I don't need to for this. So I just need a power source. G. That's not going to probably be enough, but alright, battery and the drill. Alright, where are you? For some reason I don't think that mod loaded in. I might have to reload the save here. Alright, let me reload. Maybe increase PC unit, but also add restrictions. I mean, we're probably going to have to at this point. Because I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to be able to talk you guys into dismantling half of your guys' bases. Because right now, I think any way you look at it, there's going to have to be some kind of block limits put into place. And it's just a matter of all of us, deciding on what those block limits are going to be. I'm open to anything. These are just suggestions from other servers that that I've been able to get a hold of and talk to and figure out what they're doing with their servers, and so that's where I'm getting my numbers from. Let's just get this loaded, and I can show you that other drill. Alright, finally back in. Alright. So let's add the Earthbreaker in. Gee. Oh, damn it, you know what? Block progression is turned on. I forgot about that. So I'm probably going to have to build something just to unlock that. Alright, I thought I turned off block progression, but obviously I didn't, so let me... Did I add that? Okay, why? Moving to a smaller system help. I actually don't know, Bird. I think that actually might hurt us, to be honest, with how much everyone's built. The thing is with the system is if the game's running slow for someone, they can actually move far away from everybody else, and it does improve it does improve the speed a little bit. I mean, for me, when I go over near Anti-Tracker's base or near Hector's base, I can barely move. But when I go back out into deep space or onto a planet somewhere where I'm not near a bunch of other players, I actually am able to move again and play the game. So I actually don't know if going to a smaller map would actually help. Let me try and build a small drill here to unlock the other one. I might have to just load a different save game that actually has it turned on already. It's possible that mod is broken and just didn't load in. So I'll check that real quick. Moving again. Don't know, Hector. We could all be on in the same planet. Again, I don't know if that would actually help Hector. Bird of Prey just wants so he can get to us. Maybe. I'm gonna try this one more time to get this working here. Kinda wish I had a save game where that drill was already loaded in. Let me see if this one has it already. If it does, hopefully it'll work. Defense shields, unlimited components. Earthbreaker, nope. I watched part of a YouTube series called Colony Wars, which space engineers, and they have tons of stuff, tons of factions, don't seem to have our issues. It's all on or near Earth. I doubt they use the entire system. I mean, we could try going to a single planet. But I do know what server you're talking about. I think they actually use an owned dedicated server that they built, and it's not a rented one. Alright, I'm just gonna see if I can find find another one of these that isn't broken that we can use. So one second here, and I'll see if I can pull up one. So unfortunately, a lot of mods right now are still getting updated because that economy system actually broke a lot of mods. So let's see. 'Cause usually that giant drill is on one of the first pages here. So they might not have updated it yet. Most popular. See if we can get it that way. Okay, let's try this. Let's see. Earthbreaker, that is in the game, okay. Let me change my settings here. Let's turn off progression. Where are you? Progression. There we go. Okay, now I should have everything unlocked to me. STD space wheels with space whales. All right, come on. There it is. Alright. Good. Alright, so this is the Earthbreaker drill. It's a broken drill for some reason, but alright. These are kind of hard to place. There we go. So that's what the Earthbreaker drill looks like. If I was smart, I'd put it on a piston so I could actually use the damn thing, but so hold on. I'm not gonna have enough space. Let me go up a couple more. That should be good. Just need a piston. Alright, let's get this thing going. And obviously you don't need a cockpit to do this, but I just wanted to be able to go a third person view here. Camera. Alright, so let's turn everything on. Okay, we'll turn the drill on. So the drill's on, you can see all the parts spin. Yahoo. Okay, let's set up this toolbar and extend. Really dark. Alright. So hopefully this thing will actually hit the ground soon before I run out of piston. Oh, of course. Of course! There we go. Now this should work. Sorry. that. Off. Extend. Alright, here we go. So you can see this thing makes an enormous hole. So this is the other drill that we have an option of using. So you can tell me what you think is better, this big giant drill or the laser drill. Let's see. We should tie up Chris M and AT. That would solve the PCU crisis. Not really, Hector. Hector, Kuroga checks aren't good. You need to support them. Hector says, why build the Goliath 2? Yeah, Hector is that Kuroga isn't taxing the system pods. They barely register. Because lasers aren't going to work with the Goliath design. Thomas, I noticed jump drives have a PCU of 100. Is there an alternative? No, there is not. The alternative to the jump drive would be to add a massive speed mod to the game that I don't think anyone else would. I mean, I'm used to it. The speed mod I use on my single player game is 58,000 meters per second. So I'm kind of used to a ridiculously fast speed, but almost nobody else is, so that would just probably cause problems. Hector, so you will need to grind down the old Goliath. You only need 1 or 2 per ship. That's not a problem. ATU used it for parts, but somehow we lost power and it disconnected and floated away, even though there's no gravity in space, so we blew it up. What's the difference between them? Difference between the two drills? Well, you can see the difference between the two drills. This is just a standard drill that's just enormous, and it just drills like the other other drills do. And the laser drill, like I said, doesn't destroy voxels, and it allows you to create ingots instead of having to actually go and drill specific ores. Exit out of here and head back into the server. As far as PCU goes, the biggest offender, yeah, is AT, but Hector, your faction is a very, very close second. Yeah, Hector, if we do the giant drill, each team would be limited to 1 at a time. You cannot have more than 1 of those big drills at once. And mainly because that giant Earthbreaker drill, within 5 seconds you'll have over 500,000 over 500,000 resources in a cargo container. So it takes almost no time to drill when you have one of those. And the thing with the jump drives, Thomas, they really only have an effect on the server during the jump, and that's pretty much it. Otherwise, they're pretty much inactive, and they don't actually bog the server down that much. That's what I've been told by another server, is that's why they don't do any kind of limitations on jump drives, is because you need to have multiple jump drives on a heavy ship anyway just to be able to get anywhere. And yeah, like I said, I've been told that the jump drive, when it's in the jump sequence countdown and it's creating the jump effect, that's pretty much the only time it creates any kind of lag on the server. which makes sense. Kind of, to me at least. Yeah, you'd have one giant drill and you wouldn't be able to have anything else. One giant drill would replace the 10 smaller drill heads. The problem, Hector, is drilling is one of the things that the drilling and those drill heads are some of the biggest offenders that slow the game down. I think I am going to go and try to find a pirate to destroy since I'm on the server. Bird Prey 5 missed a good part of this video because of a call from Sisto Prey. I don't think you really missed anything, Bird. Maybe ban automatic drilling facilities. Well, the thing is, we need to not ban, but we need to just limit the number of drill heads that are actually in the game. That's the main thing. The other thing that can help us out that I heard is when you have ships that are not actually in use and just sitting around, is converting them to stations so they actually stay put is one of the things that is actually helpful, because the game will stop looking at the PCU of the ship, and it'll actually stop calculating constantly its position and speed. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been converting all my ships into stations when they're parked and not in use. So I'm going to switch this one back to a ship and we can head out. I'll turn my engines on. Can we disarm one or two of our... Can you disarm? I'm not sure what you're saying. I think the fairest thing to do would be, if we do end up putting block limits in, I think the fairest thing would be to grandfather in any creation that's in the game as of, the day that the new limitations come into play. I think that'd be the most fair thing to do, and then the rule after that would be, if it's damaged or destroyed and it has to be repaired, that's when you have to change the design. Convert to other uses. Well, that's kind of what I'm hoping a lot of people do, is start thinking of their ships in terms of multi-use and not just a single drilling ship, a single exploration ship. I mean, when you're thinking of your builds, really start thinking of total PCU that you're using, and just keep in the back of your mind of how your creation might affect the greater world of the game. Well, right. I mean, the big stay big, and small can never get big at all. I mean, that's kind of true too. I just really don't see another way, a really fair way to do this without forcing everyone into a full reset, to be honest. And I'm not even sure that's something we can even avoid, because I still can't figure out what this whole cheating problem thing is. To be honest, Bert, I'm definitely not against a full reset either. I mean, that's kind of where I'm in my headspace. I think the best thing that could happen is we open up the server as a giant free-for-all for the next couple days, and then just completely wipe and restart. Yeah, that's kind of our problem too. Is I honestly believe we copied way too much stuff over from the last World in. So I mean, we kind of overloaded the world right from the start. I mean, we didn't even have a chance really to even get going. Yeah, Epic. The game's running really slow right now. It takes me about a minimum of 5 minutes to load into the game now. I mean, what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna spend another day or two trying to figure out if I can get that player X's attempting to cheat thing to stop. Uh, I really don't know. I really don't think I can. And to be honest, I think that's one of our problems, and that's why I kind of think we have to do a full restart anyway. So I'll probably propose it in a couple days, but I'm sure very few people will want to do that. I mean, yesterday there were pirates everywhere over here, and today there doesn't seem to be any. Will a full reset fix the cheat? If so, I'm for it. But I'm hoping it will because I've been talking to a couple other servers and they said that they're not having that problem whatsoever. So they think it's a rogue programmer script someone started running in the background and it's just been stuck there ever since. Hector, there's something weird going on. So basically, the server log is constantly logging as everybody in the server is trying to cheat nonstop. And that's basically the only thing that's getting logged right now is player X is trying to cheat. Player X is trying to cheat. And every time it tries to cheat, it tries to kick the player, but the server won't allow it. So I think that's where we're getting some of our hangups as well. So I guess, yeah, I'm just gonna. That's pretty much all I had to talk about regarding the server that I can think of. So, I mean, if you guys have any questions, now's the time. I'm just gonna fly around for a little while and look for pirates. Just active logging. It's probably if yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Bird. Is that's one of the things that's killing our sim speed is the servers constantly getting bogged down with saying that someone's trying to cheat and then trying to kick them off and having that action blocked all the time. As far as I know, nope. I've sent a ticket in twice now on it, and the server said that it's not it's not them. And I asked someone over at XPS Gaming and over at another server, and they've never had that come up unless it was an actual legitimate attempt to cheat. And then when they do have it come up, it's just the one line, and then it never pops up again. For us, it just keeps coming through nonstop, and it just cycles from player to player to player. Yeah, I actually did that last night on the when the I don't know if anyone was on late last night, but if you were and you noticed that the server was up and down a couple times, that was me. I was in the background. I turned off scripting for a few minutes and just to see if that turned it off, and it that didn't actually work. So, what kind of cheats program? I have no idea, Hector. I really don't. So I know there is a cheat out there that allows a player to look like they're never signed in, and then essentially it just goes and seeks out things to destroy. And it seems kind of like what was going on with our server, so that's kind of what I was thinking what was happening, but I can't prove it. So there's nothing over here, so I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna jump over by Anti-Trekker's base because I know there's a bunch of pirates over there. There always is. What kind of cheat program? I read that. I was going through the walls earlier, then randomly die. Game is bugged right now for sure. Yeah, definitely. It definitely has some problems. Won't the problem be corrected downloading and installing the program running in the server? I'm sorry, what do you mean, Hector? Pirates meters, that's all we get. Yeah, I know. And I might actually turn off meteors. If we do a reset, I'm going to turn off meteors anyway. So A, they're kind of annoying. And the amount of meteor storms is kind of a bit much. So having to calculate those meteors all the time too probably isn't helping. So I'll probably turn that off as well. I know meteors have been bringing like platinum and uranium to the planets again. There is a mod that actually turns that back on, so uranium will start spawning on planets and asteroids again. I mean, on planets and moons again. So we can actually add that and get that back to get the uranium back on planets again. And honestly, Hector, the only reason I turned asteroids on this time was it was my hope to get players to do something else besides just building nonstop. And that's kind of the problem that we're having on the server is everyone is just building and not actually playing, if that makes sense. Yeah, I really think that it was dumb to take uranium off of planets. I mean, that seems really stupid. I'm a little less worried about it now because there are trade stations and you can buy uranium. But in the early game, that would be a little bit difficult because, but, I mean, I don't know. Shit. I think I'm too close to Anti-Trekker's base, so I'm lagging out again. Yeah, I think we kind of forget about the economy system that's out there. We can use trading stations and we can use the store blocks ourselves to sell our own inventory. So I mean, if a faction or a player has an abundance of uranium, you can sell or create a trade of some kind to another player now. Bring back 100% ice asteroids. There's some up here. All the asteroids are random, so there's not really much we can do. I know some of the asteroids had to be reconfigured to add some of the rare minerals that were added to the game, Naquita, Trinium, and the other one. Or, you can go to space. Oh, yeah. But getting to space is difficult for some new players, Hector, and even when you do get to space, it can take literally days to find an asteroid with just a small amount of uranium on it. You don't believe he had 40k of uranium on? He probably did. And the way he probably did that was because, if you remember, the Goliath was originally built with a blueprint. He built the Goliath offline, so I'm guessing he did fill his reactor full of uranium before he brought before he blueprinted it, and then before he brought it over into the server. So if he did that, once he built it in the server, it would have given him all the uranium that was in his cargo bin. Is that cheating? Maybe. But that option's open to everybody, so, you know. Oh man, I took more damage than I thought I did. I left my ship sitting in space and I didn't realize I lost a couple turrets. That's okay. And the 4 turrets on top are actually in really bad spots. I keep shooting my own turrets, so I need to move those. Finally. So we are gonna go destroy this guy, and then I'll probably wrap it up. No joke, uranium is more scarce than it was. Oh yeah. I mean, it's supposed to be a super rare resource, but you know, shooting your own guns to Kuroga design. I know, right? I didn't. I had the 4 on top, and then I was getting hit by before I had a defense shield in place, I was getting hit by the meteor still. So I added a bunch of these purple ones on top, just not realizing, yeah, they're gonna be shooting each other. So. Alright, so let's get our shield up. Where's that? 5. Shield up. Once I get into... I think my main side turrets are down, so I'm just going to use my front weapons here and try and destroy this guy. So it's 7 and 8. Still might be out of range. I think this has a 3,000 meter. Nope, I'm hitting him. I think I need to get closer. Oh, my turrets? Wait, my turrets fire at you? Oh no, Kuroga. Alright. Did I get him? Still in. Wow, I can't catch up for some reason here. There, now we're in range. It's gotta. Oh, that's a asteroid I was shooting at, so it's gotta be a base of some kind. I'm just gonna let my other turrets take care of that. If I can get close here, what the hell? is going on? Alright, nothing is firing for some reason. Which is weird. Come on, fire. Alright, my turrets are apparently broken. I must have lost some engines because I don't think I did. There we go. Now we're. Oh, it was just on the other side of the. Alright, so we took a few shield hits. Yeah, see, I keep shooting myself. Alright, so this base is destroyed. Awesome. Stupid pirate base. Hey, there's my big weapon. Alright, so the side turrets are working, but for some reason they barely fire. Must have a power issue. Let's finish this off. No, don't jump. There we go. Alright, let's see. Your fire turrets are firing if I get too close. If you find smaller laser turrets, I think we will abandon the guns. Lasers are too big for a fighter. Yes, they are too big for a fighter. There are small grid lasers we should probably bring in. So it's time to track Karaga, pestering birds, all the fun. We shouldn't depend too much on lasers. Imagine if they get removed. Actually, Hector, I would prefer you guys use lasers over the standard weapons because the standard weapons actually cost a crap ton to actually use, where these lasers actually are pegged at PCUs of 1. So these are actually the cheapest weapons to use. And quite frankly, they're the most fun weapons to use. Let's see. We keep having holes in our base as if a meteor hit it. Thomas. Shit. Alright, so last night I was behind your base where you had a super gate. That, by the way, if you're wondering where your super gate is, I put a second one up and I tested it and it worked. But for some reason, when I came through the gate with my ship, the gate behind your base disappeared and I just haven't replaced it yet. And that's after I replaced it earlier in the night because I was screwing around with my lasers and I accidentally blew a hole in the back of your asteroid with my lasers and blew up your super gate. So I'm sorry about that. I'll fix that later on. I meant to put the super gate back last night, but I was so tired and I had a headache and I just completely forgot about it. So I'll do that later today. I can do that now, actually, probably. I actually don't want to put the super gate in because it lagged the system so bad last night. I think it brought the sim speed down to 0.1 once I had the second gate up and used it. Oh, you didn't finish it yet? Okay, so I'm not. I don't feel too bad about blowing it up on an accident. Okay. I might. I tell you what. Give me another day here to see if I can get it to work out without lagging the system. So I think the problem with the gate that you had on at your base was it was a little too close to the base, so your base was actually intersecting with the event horizon. So I think that's what might have caused the gate to screw up and causes a lag last night. So just give me one more day and I'll figure it out for you. But, all right, got that pirate. That was fun. And these shields actually do work really well. I've only gotten, I think in one of yesterday's battles, I took one major hit from a missile that actually got through the shield, but that was because I was running all my lasers at once, and I was taking a beating from a Gatling gun, so I think my shields were really low in the first place. And yeah, I didn't use my shield enhancement. I should have. So if you have a shield enhancer, you can hit enhanced shields, and it usually strengthens your shield HP. But I think mine's damaged because I can't. And you'll see a green line around the shield icon if you're I know, right? That's the only bad thing about space battles. They're fun, but they create a lot of trash. That shouldn't be too bad. That should actually get cleaned up. To be honest, I'll get rid of it. Get rid of all the scrap metal I just created. There we go. And then I should come back here and get rid of this too, huh? Alt F10. Out of the cockpit. Here, and I'll get rid of this. X. There we go. All cleaned up. Almost. Chris and I had a bunch of bullet holes in the back and the pack right after a battle, but the blocks weren't damaged. Yeah. So the pack rat had a shield up, Thomas? Uh-oh, shit, where are you there? Oh, that's my home jump. Here. Nice. Yeah, so they do work pretty good. I haven't had a full shield collapse yet, but that's because I've been fighting against NPC pirates and they're not the best armed, so I'm not really surprised I haven't been able to get completely through the shield yet. I was running the defense shield on my base for a little while instead of the admin shield, and two meteors were able to get through. That might have been a glitch with the shield because it was still showing I had over 50% strength in my shield left, but still let two of them through. Have any of you guys figured out what the shield modulator is for and what changing the frequency does, if that actually does anything? I think I'm gonna stick one on here real quick. Let's see if that actually does anything. Let's see, so shield modulator. I don't know if this has to be near the actual shield or... Wait, which one's active? I'm gonna put this on top. Alright, so let's see. Shield modulator, backup modulator, false, energy protection 100%, blah blah blah. Balance shield protection. So 180, what does that do? So that's dialed up to 180. Doesn't look like it changed the shield bubble at all. Let's go look at the stat screens inside. Shit. So shield 1. Holy crap. Wow, that just really... I think that... Let me turn that off. So what did that say? 1.1 million? 1.5 million HP. Let's see what it is off. So I need to go to another tab here. G... Modulator... Terrain is ignored by shield. Okay, so this allows terrain to pass through the shield. Allows entities to pass through the shield, so other players, I'm guessing. Protects against EMPs. I wouldn't even know how to do an EMP. And you can oh, nice. You can enhance structural integrity. So let's add this to the hotbar too. Alright, so let's... I'm just going to toggle that on and off, and then I'm going to do the enhanced integrity and see what changes on the screen here. So let's do the integrity thing first and see if that changes the screen. Okay, so we still have 1.5 million. Doesn't look like that changed any of that. Let's turn the modulator off. Oops. Let's see what that does. .5. So maybe that didn't do anything. Let me try and turn the enhancer off. Shield enhancement off. Okay, so now our shields are enhanced. Sort of. That's what that green bar is. So the shield enhancer doubles your shield strength. That's awesome. For a second it did, yeah, 2 million. What else does? Okay, I think that's gonna be it. I'm gonna wrap it up here since we're gonna be heading into a restart here anyway. Oh, you know what? The last thing I was gonna mention. The Naquadah generator, the fuel they need is not uranium. It is the Naquadah component, if you're wondering. And then these things produce 25 megawatts of power, and they have a total output of 25 megawatts also, which is nice. The ZPM hub is actually just mainly a super battery, essentially. Stores it stores a gigawatt of power, and it gives you a maximum output of 3 gigawatts. So yeah, that's why I have I put 2 of these on here for just extra output. So if I can add, so I'll have extra. I have extra output to expand the ship if I need to, and I won't have to add more reactors yet. Originally, I built this ship with 1 large reactor, and it wasn't enough power to power all the lasers. Mainly, it wasn't enough power to power these 2 big lasers here. So just to get these 2 big lasers to even work, I had to add a small reactor to the back of each one of these. So each one of these large fixed lasers is actually running off of its own small reactor, and it's actually draining so much power that it's actually taking some power from the ZPM battery as well. So yeah, these fixed lasers take a crap ton of power. But I think that's gonna be it. Let me know what you guys think. What you guys think block limits should be. If you're you're for or against a full reset. Really anything that, any suggestions you can think of that I can take a look at that might help the server out. But yeah, that's gonna be it for now. I was gonna work on my station for a little bit, but I think since we are up at a reset here, I mean not a reset, a rest. Actually, we got 20 minutes, so let me go. Let me jump home real quick. Okay. Yeah, 20 minutes. So I'm gonna quick run this ship home. Hopefully I'll make it. I should. This should be close enough to home, I think. So what I want to do today on my station is, hopefully I can get close enough to it here. I need to fix the pistons on this thing, the dock extension. Something's not right. I'm gonna have to replace it with merge blocks, I think. Because every time I open this dock up, I have a problem. I'll show you in a second when I get back here. Alright, whoa. Yeah, I'm lagging so bad. I should have started slowing down a while ago. But anyway, went right through the dock, right outside the shield. Nice, nice. Come on. Stop lagging for 2 minutes, game. Give me 1 minute to park this thing. Alright, so once I get into here, I can show you what my problem is with this dock. It doesn't actually have a connector in it yet, so that's also why I've just been stopping the ship and converting it to a station so it stays still. Oops, off. And we can take the shield down, save power. Should be a station, convert to station, alright, good, alright. So the problem I'm having with this dock are these, oops, wrong side, are these pistons. I mean, they all look attached, but they're actually only attached to this one and this one. So let me extend this real quick. XL dock extension, so reverse that, and we'll do the lower one too. Okay, so let me open this dock up. So basically this is just to make it obviously bigger, so a larger ship, even a larger ship can fit into here. And I know it looks like they're attached, but I'll retract it in just a second. once this gets fully extended, and you'll see what happens. Yeah, Thomas, that's the whole thing though. If we do a reset, I mean, we're gonna have to severely limit what we allow people to take with them. I, I mean, if it were up to me, I would I would say a full reset, full restart, and start from scratch. But I know a lot of people won't want to do that, so. Yeah, I've been wanting to do an elevator for a while too, but yeah, like just working with pistons can be such a pain in the ass sometimes. Because this was all the first time I extended this, everything stayed attached. Now I think this is yeah. Let me retract this, and I'll show you what happens. And it's a little ridiculous. Lower section. All right, so yeah, all these pistons retract, and it unlocks from the station. So I mean, it's kind of a pain in the ass. And then this, and then this stupid piston right here just doesn't have the power to lift this entire section up again. So well, it does, but it does. It's just really slow. So what I think I'm gonna do is attach a merge block to each piston, and then a merge block here, extend these down to relock them in place, and then detach this one, and then obviously the merge block over here. That's such a pain in the ass. I really thought this was almost done. What I was thinking of doing was just getting rid of the pistons altogether, and then just making this a solid structure. But this took so damn long to build in the first place. I don't want to change the design now. And then I'm gonna leave this dock the way it is. I might add a lower section, but I might just leave this one the way it is now, just to cut down on the size. And I do know this structure does look enormous, but let me pull this up here. I mean, I did try to keep in mind my PCU count, so I did leave this at, yeah, it's 11,000 blocks, and it's running at around, where are we? It's still under 50,000 PCU, so it's getting heavy, but it's still not terrible for the size of the structure. The first one of these I built, yeah, more like 500,000 PCU. So I optimized this thing a lot. Let's see. Let's go back inside. Get into my cryopod thing. Even though it doesn't seem to matter for me lately. Lately, it seems like wherever I log out of the game is where I spawn back in, which shouldn't happen, so it's kind of weird. Wesley just joined the game. And where? Yeah, so inside this middle part, I've got a bunch of contract and store blocks, ATMs, vending machines. So, and the station's open to everybody, so feel free to come in and use it. I don't have anything for sale yet. I haven't hooked up the blocks yet. The store and contract blocks, that is, but the vending machine and the ATM are available to use. These hollow tables here, I'll probably just design small ships and and play as a shipyard, and have the hollow tables show holographic displays of the ships you can buy from me. Sorry, I know I'm just flying around in a circle here. I'm actually looking for an open door. There we go. And so I don't want to be in the center control room. I want it to be. So we'll head back down into the gate room. The two shuttle bay doors are assigned so anyone can actually use them. So when you approach the station, you should be able to go to your control panel and access the doors from there. Yeah, and then you should be able to open the outer doors from your control station on your ship. I'm not sure, I haven't tried it yet. That's the idea. I might have to add an antenna, I'm not sure. In each bay, I mean. The sarcophagus you can actually set to be either be a cryo chamber or a med chamber, by the way. Before I do that, what was I gonna do? There was another thing I was gonna bring up. Oh, and also the Atlantis control chair also acts as a cryo too. It acts as a control chair and it kind of acts as a cryo thing. As if you're sitting in it when you log out, you'll be back in the chair when you come back in. Stop lagging. Alright, that's enough. No autonomous spots, no bringing anything. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too, is you shouldn't be able to bring anything or a small ship, and that's pretty much it. I had a piston go clang the other day for no reason. Yeah, they sometimes do that. They'll break, they'll detach for no reason, and they'll start making noise. Regular player will drive his Jeep. Yep. How many oxygen tanks is necessary for a base? Really, one. To be honest, I don't even have an oxygen tank on this base. It's just all vents, and then I've got 4 O2 generators on this base, and then a shit ton of ice. So yeah. Actually, you know what? I think I did add oxygen. I think I added 4 oxygen tanks just so I could have one on top of each of the things. So yeah, I do have 4 on here now, but usually I build 1, and that's usually more than enough. Sometimes I'll use 2 just to have a backup in case one explodes. The one thing I did learn is if you can isolate your hydrogen tanks and oxygen tanks, if you're able to, because if your hydrogen, because those are 2 blocks that if they get hit, they tend to explode and they do collateral damage. So yeah, I've learned that that's best if you're able to isolate those 2 tanks off to a area of the base that you won't mind if it gets damaged if a tank happens to get hit and explode. But that looks like that's all the comments, I think, right? I've been on Top Chat this entire time, so I might have missed something. Sorry if I did. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I might come back on later today to do some station work, but if I do that, I'll just be having the game streaming. I don't even think I'll have my mic plugged in because I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the day goes. But I'm sure I'll see all you guys later on Bird of Prey 5 stream and Anti-Tracker stream. So until then, have a good day, guys. See ya. Oh, just for Bird. Here we go. Start this media source. End screen. Oh, we don't need that. There we go.